Hello everybody, thank you for joining me. Today is the anniversary of the date in 1954 of the first televised news broadcast from the BBC. There'd been sound news bulletins regularly since the BBC started in 1922, but this was the first time the news could actually be seen on television on a daily basis. And the pictures of the news was all you did see. They didn't have interviews at that point. The Director General of the Times said that interviews would be a thing that might come later and could be very valuable. Nor did you see the presenters, John Snagg and Richard Baker, because it was thought that if you saw them, you might be able to guess what they thought about the news that they were bringing you. In 1956 you began to see the actual presenters of the news, and it actually became much more popular to watch when that happened. Of course, it's a very far cry, isn't it, from there to now, where you can have rolling news bulletins. Public places all over the country have got the BBC rolling news up on the screens to just keep you entertained, and there is a sense in a way that that's what the news in some ways has become, a part of the rolling entertainment that we get from our televisions, and only occasionally does something really tragic or really worrying inspire us to take the news that much more seriously. It's become a kind of permanent backdrop to our lives, not just from the BBC, of course, but from all sorts of other sources, and I think this can become a bit much, and sometimes if you're anything like me, you'll need just to turn off from what's going on in the wider world, just to have a bit of a break. T.S. Eliot, you remember, said that humankind cannot bear too much reality, and he might have been talking about this business of us being exposed to the reality of the suffering and the troubles of the world 24/7, but actually he wasn't. The reality he was talking about was the deeper reality, the sense that we're part of something bigger, and in his case, in his belief framework, part of something that was built around God, that would one day find its fulfillment in the world that we enter when we die. So there was this sense that humankind cannot bear too much truth about the deeper things in life. And I think one of the problems with this constant run of news items is that it can keep us on the surface of our lives. It can keep us moving so quickly from one thing to the next that we don't actually stop and think about the deeper things, the things that are more real in many ways, and ultimately even than some of the suffering and pain that we now see brought to us in our living rooms. And so today I'm basically really grateful for the awareness of what's going on in the wider world, and the ability to be able to see it, because that's much more immediate, isn't it, than just hearing about it. I think that really opens us up to a global community that we're part of, and that we become aware of through our listening and watching the news. But I think we need to watch that it doesn't become too trivialized, because we see so much of it, and doesn't distract us from time spent thinking about the deeper things about the world's life and about our lives that are perhaps the ultimate reality.